Today I'm updating the firmware of my WalkSnail Moonlight Pro, showing you the full process, what can go wrong, and the one mistake you definitely don't want to make halfway through. One of the easiest things to ignore is firmware updates. If everything works, it's tempting to just leave it alone. But with WalkSnail often making improvements on image quality, performance, recording stability, latency, and compatibility with other devices, it's worth keeping it updated. Here we have the USB cable that came with the camera. We'll use this cable to connect the recording port to the video transmission port, which bridges the two separate boards during the update process. Now, this cable is only required to be connected while performing the update. If you've lost the original cable, you can make a replacement with the standard pinout as shown in the video, or you can order another one from the Cadex website free of charge. You'll just need to cover the shipping costs. Now I'm getting power ready for the camera. Since I'm using a flight controller here, I'm using the standard digital video transmission cable that came with the controller. I've removed two of the cables and then re-pinned the other side to match the power cable that came with the camera. This saves me from having to solder those tiny little wires, because with my sausage fingers, that never goes smoothly. Now we're going to jump over to the Cadex website, head into support, then scroll down to the firmware section and select the latest version. Since we're updating the Avatar VTX, we'll choose that release type again. Now for the next part. I'm not going to lie, I always feel a little dirty inside when I get redirected to a public Google Drive link just to download a zip file. If I had one recommendation for the Cadex team, it would be to host the firmware directly on their website and provide a SHA hash for verification. It would make the whole process feel a lot cleaner and a lot more trustworthy. Now we're going to extract the file that we just downloaded like any other normal zip file. Because this is an Avatar release, it includes firmware for multiple devices. Before transferring anything to the SD card, make sure the card is formatted to FAT32. Once that's done, double check that there's no other firmware files already on the SD card. Keeping it clean helps avoid the wrong file being picked up during the update process. We also need to make sure the firmware file is placed at the root of the directory of the SD card, meaning it should sit at the top level and not inside any extra folders. It's a simple step, but definitely an easy one to mess up. Now we're going to insert the SD card into the VTX and add power. Next, press and hold the link button for about 8 seconds or until the status light turns red. Once it does, you can let go of the button. If you made it this far, feel free to consider subscribing to the channel. It always helps. Now this is the most important part of the entire process. Do not disconnect the power. Seriously, no unplugging, no battery swaps, and no touching anything just because it feels like it's taking too long. Some updates can take a few minutes, and if the power is interrupted halfway through, there's a real chance of bricking the VTX. So at this point, I usually just leave it alone and let it do its thing. Alright, we're there. Once the green light comes back on, the update is complete. At this point, we can safely disconnect the power, then remove the USB cable and the SD card. Hopefully this made the whole process feel quick and easy. The same general method can be used across multiple other VTXs and even the goggles. So once you've done it once, the rest becomes pretty straightforward. If you run into any issues or have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments section.